Physics Practice Paper 3 for Tao Nan 2024. This is for the mid-years. So this is paper 1. So calculators will not be allowed. Okay, let's look at question number 1. Which of the following is 35,020 in numerals? Okay, so 35,000 definitely will be this, not the other two. Okay, so 35,020. 20 is this one, so option 2. Question number 2, round 6.785 to 2 decimal places. So if I have 6.785, 2 decimal places means I'm looking at the second decimal place is an 8. So do I keep the 8 or do I round it up to a 9? So it depends on the number behind. So because it's a 5, I will be rounding it up to 6.79. Okay, so option 3. Number 3, which line in the square grid is parallel to AF? So in order to see parallel lines, right? Let me just highlight and show you. We're looking at AF here, and you should be looking for a line that cuts across the grid from one corner to the next corner within one grid. Within one square. So you're cutting the square into half. So which line actually cuts the squares into half at a 45-degree angle? So this line, no, definitely not. Then you're left with CD. So CD, yes. Because you see here, this one cuts it into half, right? And then it keeps cutting it into half like that. Okay, so answer is line CD. Question 4, diagram shows a bookshelf in a school library. So we're supposed to find the possible height of the bookshelf. Okay, let's eliminate. Which one is not possible? Definitely not 1 cm. 1 cm is like way too short, right? 1 cm is about maybe like the thickness of your eraser. 5 cm is probably like the length of your finger or your pinky. So no, not that. You're left with 1 meter or 5 meter. Okay, which one is more realistic? 1 meter is okay, if a person's height is 1.5, so 1 meter is like slightly lower than a person's height. But 5 meters, like from the floor to the ceiling, right? A standard height would be maybe twice of adult's height, so maybe about 3 meters. So 5 meters will be like even taller than a typical 1-story. So 5 meters will be too much. Okay, so answer will be 3. 5 meters, you can't reach the top. Imagine you are like, if let's say you are 1.5, how are you going to reach the top of the shelf? So not very realistic. Okay, question number 5. P, Q, and RS are straight lines. So when you have 2 straight lines cutting across each other, right? You have vertically opposite angles, which means that D and B are equal. Okay, let's bear that in mind and look at all these options. So we're supposed to find the one that is true. So is A equals to C? Not really, because A and C will be equal to this, because your straight lines cut this way. So the angles opposite are equal, but A is not opposite C, okay? A is just a part of the angle opposite C. So no, not true. Angle B and D are equal, yes. So that's what I was talking about earlier. Your vertically opposite angles. You got 2 straight lines and then it forms like an X. 2 angles opposite are equal. Let's check 3 and 4 just to make sure. A and D 180? No, definitely not, because 180 had to be on a straight line. Then we have A and C equals 180. No, A is more than 90, C is more than 90. A and C will definitely be more than 180. Okay, question 6. In the number line, what is the mixed number represented by A? Okay, so we're looking for a mixed number, which means like as a fraction. So you have one hole, two holes. How many intervals are there? If you don't count the lines, but count the gaps. There are actually 8 intervals, 8 gaps in between. So which means that this is actually an increment of 1/8. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 gaps means 5/8. So A will be 1 whole and 5/8. Okay, so option 4. Question 7. We have figures with 5 identical squares. Which one has a line of symmetry? So a line of symmetry means that it's like a mirror line. Okay, whatever you have on one side will have to be the mirror image of the other side. Okay, so the first one, there's no line of symmetry. 2, you can cut it into half, but it wouldn't be a line of symmetry because if you cut it this way down, right, it's not a mirror image. Same for 3, you can't cut it into half actually. Then for 4, there is a line of symmetry. It's a diagonal line. Okay, so something like that. Okay, whatever you have on one side is the same, looks the same. It's a mirror image of the other side. So option 4. Question 8, you have a square. PQRS is a square. And PQ equals to PT. PQ and PT. Okay, let's mark that out. Also, because this is a square, all 4 sides are the same. So I'll also mark them out. Okay, then find angle TPQ, the one that is marked out over here. Okay, so firstly, in a square, one corner of the square is a right angle. So you have 90 degrees, which means you can find PQT. So that's 90 minus 23. 67 degrees. And because you have equal lines, this is isosceles, which means that this is also 67. Then in order to find TPQ, that will be 180 minus 67 minus 67, which is 46 degrees. Okay, so actually there's no need to the rest of the equal lines doesn't really help, but it's a habit to just label it in case you never know when you need it, right? Okay, so 46 is the answer, option 3. Question 9. Mr. Lim had $50 after buying 4 identical ties. He had X dollars left. How much did he pay for each tie? Okay, so this question is about algebra. So we want to find the cost of each tie. So with $50, he bought 4 ties and had X dollars left. So to find the cost of the 4 ties, we will have to take away X, right? Take away the amount left. So this is the amount spent on 4 ties. So how do you find 1 tie? Then it's the whole answer above, divided by 4. Okay, it is not X divided by 4. It's not 50 divided by 4, but it's the whole thing, 50 minus X divided by 4. So the whole thing over 4. So answer option 3. Question 10. Arrange these distances from the shortest to the longest. So you have decimals, you have it in km and meters, and then you have it in mixed numbers. So to be able to compare them, right, let's change all to decimals. The middle one is 1.205 km. Then the last one is 1.4 km. Because 2/5 is 4/10. 4/10 is 0.4. Okay, so which one is the shortest? This is 1.25 versus 1.205, right? If you look at the second decimal place, this is a 5, this is a 0. So this one will be shorter. So this is the shortest. And this will be the longest because it's 1.4. Okay, so from the shortest, you have either option 1 or 2, and then the longest has to be 1 and 2/5. So option 2. Okay, so the shortest, longest. Question 11. In a television guide shown, one program leads to another without any break in between. So how much longer is the music program than the sports program? Okay, what they show is they are showing all the start times, and they didn't show the duration, so you have to calculate the duration because we are comparing the duration of the programs. So comparing music and sports, music starts at 10 a.m. and it ends at 11:30 a.m. So from here to here, right, this is 1 hour, 20 minutes. This is for the music program. For the sports program, it starts at 11:30. Okay, it starts at 11:30 and it ends at 12:20. So that is 50 minutes. 50 minutes. Compare these two timings. Okay, the difference would be 30 minutes. So it's 30 minutes longer. Answer 1. Okay, question 12. A group of children was asked to choose one fruit from apple, mango, orange, and pear. Table represents the children's choices. The children's choices were also represented by a bar graph, but the names of the fruits were not shown. So we need to figure out which one is which fruit and then find the total number of children who chose apple and orange. Okay, so going by the percentages, the highest one will be pear. So this has to be pear. Then the lowest is apples. So the lowest bar will be A. Okay, then just figure out mango or orange. Mango is the lower one, so this is mango. This is orange. Okay, so we're looking at apple and orange. Apple will be 8. Orange will be increases by 4. 4. So this is 20. So answer 20 and 8, 28. Question 13. Okay, a little more challenging. You have figure 1 here. Rectangular tile is the parameter of 14 cm. Figure 2 is formed using 5 such tiles. You're supposed to find the parameter of figure 2. Now, we're not given the length or the breadth. We're just given the parameter, which is 2 lengths and 2 breadths. So let's call it L and B. So 2L plus 2B is 14. Now I need to figure out like this figure is made up of how many L's and B's. Okay, I'm going to use a highlighter to show. So for this, okay, I know that this whole thing here, right, has a total length of 3L. Yes, so those that 3L consists of the ones that I highlighted in yellow. So this 3L. Okay, then there's another set of 3L below this, and this. Okay, I don't really know. I don't really need to know like specifically how much is this part here or that part, but I know the sum of all these will be 3L. Okay, now let's look at the sides. This is a total of 3B. Yes, so on this side, I have the sum of this, which is 3B. Then I also have another set of 3B here, here, and here. Okay, 3B for the pink ones. Oops. Okay, so the total that I'm looking for will be 6L and 6B, which means that I have to multiply by 3. Okay, so 14 times 3 is 42, and that is the parameter of the figure. So answer option 1. Okay, question 14. A florist had some roses and tulips. She sold 1/3 of the roses and 4/9 of the tulips. 7/11 of the flowers sold were roses. What fraction of the flowers did the florist sell? Okay, I'm going to use ratio for this. I'm going to convert all to ratio and then I'll find common base. So firstly, 1/3. She sold 1/3 of the roses, which means that the roses sold to the total number of roses will be 1 to 3. For the tulips, 4/9 were sold. So tulips sold will be 4. Total for the tulips will be 9. Just be careful, T is not total, but T is tulips. Okay, so 7/11 of the flowers sold were roses, which means that out of the total number of flowers that were sold, 7 units were roses, and let's look at the rest, which is tulips sold. Okay, which means, right, out of all the flowers that were sold, 7 units were roses and 4 units were tulips. So that's how I get 7 to 4. Now compare common base. I have roses sold here. I also have roses sold here. So I have to change this to 7. So times 7. And the tulips sold is already the same number of units. So with this, I'll answer the question, what fraction of the flowers did the florist sell? So the total number of the total flowers that the florist have at first would be 21 units plus 9 units, 30 units. I got it from here, roses and tulips. Okay, then the total number of flowers sold. Total sold would be 7 and 4. That's 11. So my answer would be 11 out of 30. Option 3. Question 15. The pupils at the camp are divided into group A and B. Ratio of number of boys to girls in group A is 5 to 4. Ratio of number of boys to girls in group B is 5 to 1. 3 times as many pupils in group B as group A. So what could be the total number of boys in each in both groups. Here, there are no numbers given, no actual numbers. They just give us ratios. So what we do is we're going to do the same thing as question 4. Try to find common base. Here, right now, our ratios first. So firstly, 5 to 4, ratio of boys to girls in group A. Okay, so boys in A versus girls in A. 5 to 4. Then the other ratio that we have will be boys in B to girls in B. 5 to 1. Then 3 times means that the total in, okay, let's do 3 times as many in B as in A. So if I were to write A to B, B is 3 times. So 1 to 3. Okay, so this A, right, is the total number of children in A. So I'm going to find the total in A here. But I'll just label it as A instead of total. Then for B, so 5 plus 1 is 6. Okay, now let's make common base the same. So firstly, A is 1 unit here. This is 9. I'll change this to a 9. So that times 9. This is 27. Okay, so B here is 27. But here is 6. So I need to find the lowest common multiple. It is not 27 times 6, but it is 54. 54. This is times 2. Then this is 54 times 9. Okay, so then I get 18 here. So be careful when you find the common multiple of 27 and 6. The lowest is actually 54, not 27 times 6. Okay, so this is a 9, 45. And because A, okay, so 54 done. And because A changed to 18, right? So I'll have to change this to 18. So times 2. So 10 to 8 to 18. Okay, so which of the following could be a total number of boys in both groups? So I don't really know the actual number, but if I were to look at the ratios, right? The ratio, because they are already in the simplest form, I mean, after having to find the common base, right? The common base are in the lowest possible common multiples. So these numbers are like the lowest possible numbers that can be the actual number, okay? So what's the total number of boys in both groups? I can just take 10 plus 45 because this is the lowest possible number. It will be one of the possible answers could be 55 or anything that is a multiple of 55. Okay, but in these 4 options here, there's only 55 that is possible. So the answer is 4. Okay, so 10 and 45. 10 plus 45, this is a possible answer. So I will choose option 4. Okay, not 1, not 2, not 3, because after finding common base, I will not be able to get those numbers. Okay, let's look at paper, booklet B. Still paper 1, no calculators. Okay, booklet B, round 13,845 to the nearest 100. Nearest 100 here. Behind is a 4, so don't round it up. Just keep it as 800. So all the common multiples of 4 and 6 that are smaller than 30. Okay, common multiples of 4 and 6, just find the first one. So 4, 8, 12, 16, and so on, right? What's the first common multiple? It will be 12. Okay, you can just stop here. You don't have to list down all the way because all your common multiples of 4 and 6 will actually be multiples of 12. Okay, so you just list down multiples of 12. Then you do not go to 36 because that is not smaller than 30. Question 18, find the value of 3/4 divide by 15. That's a divide. Okay, apply or keep, change, flip. And how does it work? Keep the first fraction, change the sign, flip the last number. So this is a 15. 15 is the same as 15 over 1. So when I say flip, I mean 1 over 15. Okay, so we apply, keep, change, flip when we are doing division of fractions. Okay, so when you have this, multiplication of fractions means that the numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. But you can actually simplify in this state. So example, 1 at the top, 1 at the bottom. 3 and 15 have a common factor of 3. So both can be divided by 3. Nothing else to simplify. 1 times 1 and 4 times 5. Okay, so answer 1 over 20. Question 19. Devi has $10. She spends 95 cents on a bun and 60 cents on a drink. So how much does she have left? Okay, so you have dollars, you have cents. So what we're going to do is, since the final answer has to be in dollars, let's add up what she spent first, okay? Let's do it. Let's do the addition first in cents before we convert to dollars. So this is 155 cents, which is $1.55. So when I minus from $10, how much will I get? $10 minus $1 is $9. $9 minus 55 cents will be $8.45. So 8.45. Next, question 20. Figure is made out of equilateral triangles. So what fraction is shaded? So what you can do is to split the diagram up into smaller triangles. So can you see that one big triangle can be split into 4 small triangles? So you do the same. And this as well. So every big triangle is made up of 4 smaller triangles. So the total number of triangles is 16. The shaded ones will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 over 16. Question 21. Find the value of each of the expressions when m is 5. Okay, the first one is the plus sign. So 7m plus 6 means 7 times m, which means 7 times 5 plus 6. Okay, you got multiplication and addition. You're supposed to do the multiplication first. So that's a 35 plus 6, which is 41. So answer for A is 41. Then for B, 2m means 2 times 5. Minus m over 9 is 5 over 9. Okay, so you have 5 over 9 is a fraction. You have multiplication and subtraction. So you have to do a multiplication first. Okay, that's a 10. So 10 minus 5 over 9, which is 9 and 4 over 9. Question 22. In the square grid, so this is a square grid, point what is west of point B? Okay, because, okay, so firstly, north, south, west, and east, you need to at least remember the 4 points. Okay, when they say of point B, right, means you're supposed to start from point B. You want west of point B. West is this way. Okay, west. So point A. So of point B means you start from point B and then you go to the west, hit the west. Okay, so for part B, point D is northeast of point what? So we are supposed to find the original point now. Okay, so let's look at point D first. Point D is the final location that is like northeast of um, the other location. Okay, northeast is this way, northeast. So it comes from that way, okay? Not that you start from D, but it comes from that way. So like this direction, it it comes from northeast. Okay, because D is northeast of some other point. So continue in that direction and you'll have H. Okay, so answer H. Question 23. You have an equilateral triangle, supposed to find angle X. Equilateral triangle means that this one is a 60. So to find X, we just take, okay, maybe no calculators, right? Okay, let's add up 60 and 65 first. That's 125. Then we take 360 minus 125. This is 235 degrees. Question number 24, you need to use your protractor, your ruler. Yeah, your ruler and your protractor. So I can't do it here. So it's supposed to be somewhat close to 8.0 cm because they want the nearest 0.1 cm, right? So if you measure it as 8 cm, you have to write 8.0 to the nearest one decimal place. And then size of PQR, use your protractor to measure. Should get close to 109 degrees. If you measure and you realize it's less than 90, it's definitely wrong because this angle here is more than 90. Okay, make sure you're reading from the correct scale. Okay, question 25. Line graph, this is a line graph. It shows the temperature of soup in a pot from 7 a.m. to 7:35 a.m. What was the temperature of soup at 7:30? Okay, it's not very clear here, but then after 7:20 it becomes a straight line. So at 7:30, the temperature, okay, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 gaps, 4 intervals. So every jump is a 5 degree Celsius. So this has to be 90. And this part here is the time we're looking at, 7:30. That would be a 95. For B, what's the increase per minute over the first 5 minutes? Okay, first 5 minutes from here, oops, to here. Okay, what's the increase? At 7 o'clock, it's 20 degrees Celsius. At 7:05, it's at 60. So there's an increase of how many degrees? So 60 minus 20, 40 degrees, right? This is for 5 minutes. Okay, you want per minute. Per minute means 1 minute. So 40 divided by 5. Every minute it increases by 8 degrees Celsius. So answer 8 degrees Celsius per minute. Next one, what is the percentage discount for the bag shown? Okay, we are given the usual price 60, but there's a discount, so you only pay 48. What is the discount given? Discount is the amount that you save, right? So 60 minus 48, you save $12, but we are trying to find the percentage discount. So percentage discount is discount over the original of 60 times 100%. And this, when you simplify it, 1, 5. 1/5 of 100 is 20. So answer, 20% discount. Question 27, table shows the number of storybooks read by each pupil in a group. Part of the table was covered up by an ink blot. There were 45 pupils who read at least 2 storybooks. Okay, at least 2 means including 2. So this has to be 45. So let's see if each of the statements are true, false, or not possible to tell. First one, 7 pupils did not read any storybooks. So those who read 0 be 7. So yes, it's true. Next, there were 80 pupils in a group. I don't know 3 and 4, but I know the 2, 3, and 4 will be 45. So I will take 7 plus 8 plus 45. That gives us 60, which is false. It's not 80, but 60. Then the number of pupils who read 3 storybooks was equal to the number of pupils who read 4 storybooks. Okay, so now the ink blot is covering the 3 and 4, right? I can't really tell at first whether they are equal. But with the information given that the 2, 3, and 4 storybooks has a total of 45 pupils, right? I can at least know what is the total for 3 and 4, which is 45 minus 20, which is 25, right? So now we ask ourselves, can it be equal? If you have 25 books, you can't have half a pupil, right? So 25 cannot divide by 2. Cannot divide 2. So it is definitely false. Okay, it's not possible to tell because odd number, you cannot have it equal in these 2 columns. Okay, question number 28, a difficult one, and I think the answer key shown gives a wrong number. So a roll of tape has stars and hearts printed in a repeated pattern. Mabel cuts a piece of tape from the roll. In that piece, there are 135 stars. Find the possible numbers of hearts on that piece of tape. Okay, why is it possible numbers of hearts? Because, right, the piece of tape that she cuts may not start with this. Okay, it could be like maybe there's already the piece of tape starts like after the first star, or could be after the second stars, or it could be after the first heart. Okay, we are not told that it has to start from this as shown here. Okay, so anyway, let's first take it as it starts from here. Then we'll work down all the possible answers. Okay, it repeats, right? The pattern repeats. Every group of shapes that repeats will be something like that. 2 stars, 1 heart, 1 star, 1 heart. 2 stars, 1 heart, 1 star, 1 heart. Okay, so every group, they said that there's 135 stars. One group will be 3 stars. Okay, based on how the pattern is repeating. So if there are 135 groups, and if I divide it by 3, I'll get 45 groups. Okay, so plainly looking at this, right? 45 groups, how many hearts will that be? So 45 times 2. Okay, this is one of the possible answers. If it's just like that. Okay, then let's explore what happens if the tape that she cuts, right, the doesn't start as shown. So let's say it starts from here. So if that is one group, how many you will end off with this, right? 135 stars. You end off with this. So you cannot add any more stars. The if there's okay, 135 stars doesn't mean that there's exactly 45 groups. Sometimes it means that okay, there is 45 groups, but it doesn't mean that it stops where the group ends. You can have 45 groups and then like one more shape, but as long as it's not a star. So in this case, if I start the tape this way, right, the next shape is a star, then it will not give us a different answer. Okay, you cannot have additional stars. So that combination would not matter. Okay, what if it's from the heart? Like that. Okay. So what if this is one group? One group, and then 135 stars, you end off with this star as the last shape of the pattern. Can I say that there's another heart behind it? Can, right? Because technically, even if I add one more heart behind it, right, it's still 135 stars. Okay? They're not limiting the number of shapes that I can have. So if my last group my 45th group ends here, I technically can have one more shape, which is a heart. Okay, so okay, maybe I use another color. So if this is one group, my last group will be a star, and then I can have another heart shape. So my next possible number of hearts can actually be more. I can add one more. Okay, so this is another possible answer. This is when my one group is heart, star, heart, star, star. Okay, then followed by heart. Then next, let's use another color. What if it's like that? If this is one group, my next shape is a star. I cannot add the extra star in. So this group will not make any difference, will not give us any other possible answers. So no. Okay, then now let's look at this one. If it starts here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here. I will also be able to add one more heart, right? But nothing beyond that. So that one will also be 91. Okay, now let's look at instead of adding one more heart, let's look at is it possible to remove a heart? Okay. So example, uh the yellow one. Okay, you look at the original yellow one, right? Okay, so if this is the second last group, and then followed by, you want 135 stars, so the last group must have 3 stars. But what if you end here? Technically, you should include this as the last group, right? But they say 135 stars, right? So as long as I end with 3 stars in a group, I can say that this heart in the last group may not be included. So instead of 90, if I end here, it'll be 90. But if I end it earlier, right, the last group, if I end it earlier, it will still be 135 stars, but I'm left with 1 less heart. So the other possible answers will be 90 minus 1. So this is when we have last group with 4 shapes only. Which is a star, star, heart, and star. Okay, so all the possible answers will be 89, 90, 91. Okay, let's look at question 29. Figure shows a square divided into smaller squares A and D, as well as 2 rectangles B and C. Total perimeter of B and C is 48 cm. Area of square A is 25 square cm. Okay, so firstly, we need to find the area of square D. So firstly, let's find out each side of A. So each side of A is 5. Now, because this is a square, all the sides are the same, which means that the breadth of B is also equal, breadth of C is also equal to 5. Okay, then they tell us that the total perimeter of B and C is 48. So 48 minus, I have 4 times of 5, so 48 minus 4 times 5. Okay, I'll get 28. So where is 28? 28 is this. Okay, 28. And they are all equal because D is a square. So the 4 sides are highlighted in blue, right? They are equal. So I take 28 divided by 4 equals to 7. Each side of D is 7. Area of square D, 7 times 7. Okay, so this is 49 square cm. Okay, question 30. A trapezium ABCD and a right angled triangle ABE are drawn on a square grid inside a box as shown here. So by joining dots on the grid with straight lines, you're supposed to draw another trapezium ABCF such that AF is longer than BC. Okay, so if you need to draw another trapezium, right? So trapezium, property of a trapezium is that you need to have 1 pair of parallel lines. We're keeping A, B, and C. So where should F be? So we're keeping A, B, C. Now, when the question says that AF is longer than BC, right? That's an indication that those two lines are actually the parallel lines. You can't have F along D, right? Because it's very hard to tell whether BC is longer or shorter than AF. Okay, so F should not be along CD. It shouldn't be this direction. Okay, if you want to compare the length, it should go in the same direction. Meaning, if you look at BC, right? BC cuts across 3 squares. Not sure if you can see, or rather, we can do this 3 to the right, 1 down. Okay, that's how you get parallel lines. So 3, I mean, if you use the same measurement, right? So 3 to the right, 1 down, you'll get a parallel line. That, okay, but AF has to be longer. So we do it again. So 3 to the right, 1 down. Get here. So now we have point F, and it is definitely longer than BC. Then we connect C to F. You use a ruler. I'm not able to use a ruler here, but okay. So that's for part A. This is your trapezium. Then for part B, draw another triangle ABG such that it has the same area as triangle ABE. ABG must not overlap trapezium ABCD. So the triangle ABE is here. We are drawing another triangle on that same side. Okay, don't make it come down because it will overlap. Not supposed to overlap. Okay, so same area means same base, same height. AB, BE, base and height. So let's draw ABE. You want to keep AB. So you need, sorry, not drawing ABE, but ABG. Keep AB, find point G. So to find G, it needs to be the same height. Okay, let me use another color. So this is right angle here, right? So if the base is AB and the height has to be perpendicular, BE is a height. So we need BG. So anywhere along this line, for example, this can be G. That you see the sorry, a bit off, but the height is the same as BE. Okay, something like that. Not sure if you can see. The height is here. It's the same as BE. So angle ABG have same base and same height. Okay, even if you choose this dot here, right, as G, you also get it right. Okay, ABG. That's fine. As long as it's the same height. Only 2 possible answers. Okay, just make sure that the base and the height is the same. Okay, with that, that's the end of this paper. Downline 2024 is practice paper 3 for paper 1.